So how about this? How about this? How about we lighten the mood, or absolutely start chaos and anarchy based off of our next subject and the next thing that we're going to talk about, man. So, the internet is a funny place. Things happen on the internet out of nowhere, and for whatever reason, this is the week of Tua Tagovailoa and Drew Brees comparisons, right? Like we've had them his entire career. Coming into the draft, Tua was always compared to Drew Brees, same height, beat you the same way, could win the same way. So that was going to be the natural comparisons, right? But then Tua had his career and it kind of died down because Tua is not going to be Drew Brees. That's just a fact. Drew Brees is one of the 10 greatest quarterbacks of all time. That's fair. He didn't become one of the 10 greatest quarterbacks of all time. That hey, it's been a lot of
Right.
quarterbacks. It's not
Let
a
me not
slight.
crucify for that. You know.
Yeah. However, I find it odd that out of nowhere, and I get it, we're in the off season. We need stuff to talk about. We need to have things that are going to create engagement. But Rod, why are people? Why is this coming back? Why did the internet bring this back
Well,
5 years after the fact, bro?
Herbie, at the end of the day, man, the internet is a funny place because at the end of we need things to do. We need filler, right? And this conversation is a conversation you go to have. I want to start this off by giving a shout out to Teron Armstead.
Yeah,
The reason why I say that is because he's a ride or die homie, dog. Like Teron Armstead is gonna
a
hold.
true offensive lineman.
He's a true offensive. He's gonna hold down his quarterback, Herbie, because he played with Drew Brees. So
Yeah,
for him to make that comparison, it carries a little bit of weight. A little bit of weight.
Rod, you know what? That's why I never put two and two together. You just said that he did play with the Saints. He did play. He did play with both of them. That's why it's sticking. Okay, that makes sense. There's
Yeah.
actual credence to the conversation because somebody who has a unique perspective on it is actually the one saying it. Okay, all right. Sorry to cut you off, but go ahead.
No, of course. So, Herbie, and look, the thing that suck about these kind of discussions, Herbie, is the fact that when people hear a name and a name, regardless of the context of the conversation, people are quick to just dismiss things and throw out opinions and fucking regurgitate shit. But what people have to understand is when people are making the comp to Tua and Breeze, nobody is trying to say that nobody's trying to say that Tua's going to be Drew Brees. Like there is no Herbie, there's no way to quantify that and to be able to guarantee that. What we can say though, Herbie, what is fair to say is the fact that a guy could be similar to a great player. That doesn't mean he's going to be great. That doesn't mean he's great. You can think he sucks, whatever you think. But when you think about the things that Tua does well, when you think about him being an accurate quarterback, he's been one of the most accurate quarterbacks since he's been in the league, regardless of how you feel about him. You can talk about him throwing 5-yard passes, even though that's been debunked. You can talk about him being a one-read quarterback, even though that's been debunked. Like if you actually do research, Tua Tua has actually been shown. There are charts. I should have, you know what, Herbie? I gave you another chart. I should have gave you the top right Tua chart, where they show quarterbacks who read defenses the fastest and go deeper into the reads. Tua is one of the like top quarterbacks at actually reading a defense, and you see it when you watch film. There are plenty of times you see Tua snapping his head, looking at the defense, and then checking down or going to whatever option is open. So people come up with all these narratives because they just don't like the guy because he has an average NFL arm at best. So people are always going to look down on him, and then you look at his first 2 seasons where he just didn't look impressive at all. But the crazy thing is, though, Herbie, the thing about Drew Brees that people I think forget was that when Drew Brees came into the league, like I don't even think Drew Brees won a playoff game until what his 6th or 7th season. Like at the end of the day, Herbie, I think one of the biggest problems that we have in the modern NFL is the fact that people see a guy like Mahomes right now is the only motherfucker winning. Jalen Hurts just got one off him, right? But at the end of the day, Herbie, there's these guys still have a story to tell, right? And the problem with Tua, Herbie, and why I would say he'll never come close to that Drew Brees ceiling that people say he has is just because he can't stay on the field. I don't know if his career is going to be long enough for that, Herbie. That's just me being honest. But when you look at the play style, I'll tell you, Herbie, I have no problem. I have no problem saying this because I actually watched Tua. There were times last year, not all season, definitely not all season, but there were times he looked very Brees-esque. That second game against the Bills in Buffalo, he matched Josh Allen pass for pass. Like he was just as good as him. There were a couple other games against teams that weren't as good where he snapped on them. There were times where you watch Tua play, and from an objective standpoint, from pass to pass, he looked Brees esque. But we know he's not Drew Brees, Herbie, because Drew Brees at the end of the day has shown he has a career to prove that he is one of the all-time great quarterbacks. Think about this, Herbie. Drew Brees went on the one of the greatest postseason runs ever. Took down Kurt Warner, right? Took down Brett Favre. And then he took down Peyton Manning, right? Like, I don't know how many quarterbacks have gone through a gauntlet of other Hall of Famers like that and took them all down in one postseason, right? So, Drew Brees has the legacy. And of course, he has a bunch of other playoff games where shit, the swear jar, things just didn't work out, right? Things just didn't work out for Drew Brees, right? Against the Vikings, things didn't work out. Against the Rams, he got screwed, right? So
Yeah, for sure.
Tua, from a play style perspective, Herbie, if you were to watch some film on Brees and you watch some film on Tua, if you take your bias out of it, they don't look that much different because they played a similar way. But
Yeah,
the problem is Tua has a lot to prove still. He just has a lot.
no, the problem is that Tua has a lot of baggage, and there's a lot of people who don't actually watch the Miami Dolphins. So, and they just have a visceral opinion of Tua Tagovailoa for whatever reason. And they had an opinion, they had a position, and they refused to come off of it. Are we saying that he is anything remotely close to Drew Brees, stature-wise? No. This is simply play style. And to piggyback off of what you said, we're going to go ahead and react to Teron Armstead right here, my boy. So this is Teron Armstead, and let me know if y'all can hear it in the chat. If y'all can hear it, let me know.
Tua is highly intelligent. Like you spoke on the anticipation, his precision,
You can hear it, Rod?
his accuracy.
Yeah, I can hear it.
The command he's starting to get. Like Drew didn't come out the gate as the final product that we saw of Drew Brees, the Hall of Famer. Drew had his growing pains the same way. I'm not saying that.
Of course, YouTube. nigga need to get YouTube Premium. God damn, if we
Hey
gonna
man,
be
don't let
getting
Carissa still be in here, man. She'll get the help for that.
Oh, she a elitist?
Oh,
She a
premium
YouTube?
head.
That are saying
She's a
that
premium
Drew
head?
beat Drew Brees.
Premium head.
He's not trying to be Tua.
Premium
The best version
head.
of Tua. Highly intelligent. As he continues to grow and get more command of the offense, I think the separating factor to take Tua from really good to great is the late game situations. Situational football, that's the separator. That's the thing. That's the reason why Patrick Mahomes has been to 5 Super Bowls. Those guys win one score games repeatedly.
All right, so to piggyback, he basically said what you said verbatim, right? Which is Drew Brees didn't come out the gate like that. Drew Brees got traded, guys. Drew Brees wasn't a finished product, out the gate. Phillip Rivers was his replacement. He had his first good season when Phillip Rivers was on the team, and he had to actually say, "Oh crap, I have to play the best." They drafted my replacement, right? So, is there an opportunity to become one of the 10 greatest quarterbacks of all time? Maybe, but you have somebody with a unique perspective, and again, he's biased. He played with both dudes. He gonna co-sign with both dudes. That's neither here nor there. Right. But there's conviction in his voice. That's a man that believes what he's saying, not just because he has to say it. He watched both dudes play. He's seen both dudes prepare. He's watching film and seeing similarities between both dudes. So it is not a completely crazy comparison. Again, play style wise, guys, not legacy, not stature, not what they're ultimately going to amount to be. Like, we got to remember, as great as Drew Brees was, Drew Brees does not have a single all-pro team. He's never made an all-pro team.
No MVPs.
No MVPs. Right. You know what I'm saying? I'd say he might have made an all-pro, maybe. I got to go double check, but he has no MVPs. He never been a first-team all-pro, right? Like, he was just a very, 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 very incredible statistical quarterback. And he carried a lot of bad teams. He has a bunch of yards. We know this. He has multiple years where he completed 70% of his passes.
I think he has the most 5,000-yard seasons out of any quarterback.
He does. He's the fastest to 60,000 yards. So, listen, we ain't trying to compare them dudes, but it's not a crazy comparison. And the reason why it's not a crazy comparison, Mr. Rod, man, is because of this right here, dog. This right here, dog. Look at that. Look at that.
First 5 seasons.
You see the record. You see the completion percentage. You see the passing total yards. You see the yards per attempt. You see the yards per game. You see the pass touchdowns. You see the interception, passer rating. all of that. Now, granted, we are in a passing league, but it's not outlandish, guys. It's not completely outlandish, man. So, we can leave on that note, man. We can leave on that note. Speaking of quarterbacks, though, man.